Welcome, everybody. It's a wonderful thing to see all of you here for our first Daisy Award. As you can see, these are our nominees this year for the program. I would like to first acknowledge some special guests that we have with us today. First, we have one of our patients, Kathy Vaughn, who nominated one of our candidates. And we have Mrs. Sue Druschel, who is also one of our wonderful patients. And I would also like to acknowledge the Manatee Memorial Auxiliary. The foundation has graciously sponsored this program for nursing, which is just an absolutely lovely program I think you're going to find. And I'm going to show you a video in a few seconds that goes into greater detail. But I would like to introduce Henrietta Hank Larson. She is the auxiliary president and one of our foundation board members. And Nancy Stoley, a huge advocate for nursing. She is our auxiliary past president and foundation board member as well. When I first saw the Daisy Award, I said to myself, these are our nurses. We have them everywhere. And I will tell you that we were fortunate enough to have 29 nurses that were nominated for the Daisy Award this month. We have a committee. Unfortunately, we do have to narrow it down to 5 finalists. And unfortunately, out of the 5 finalists, we can only have 1 winner. But that doesn't mean that each of our nominees aren't extremely special to us. So what I would like to do is ask each nurse manager to come up individually, read the nomination for her nurse, and we would like to acknowledge that nurse with a nomination pin. When we do finally announce the winner will receive, as you saw, the Healer's Touch sculpture. And what I found so special about that is that these are individually handcrafted by artists in Zimbabwe. And for those of you that may not know, the unemployment rate in Zimbabwe is near 95%. So by making these statues for us, they're actually able to feed their families. So to me, the Daisy program was a program that just keeps giving and giving back. Very characteristic of how nurses are. So with no further ado, I will begin to bring up my nurse managers. I would also like to introduce our 2 co-chairs, Rebecca Ray and Christy Kita. They help us with the Daisy program and to select our winners. They go around, pick up all of the ballots. So I don't know how I would do it without them. So they're going to be part of us giving out the awards. All right. First, I would like to ask Priscilla Cooper to come up.
Hi, thanks everybody for coming. This is awesome. I hadn't seen that video and I'm like teary, so forgive me if I get a little, a little teary. This is for my nurse, huh?
Into the mic.
Oh, like right into it? How about now? Okay.
You're rocking.
Okay, this is for one of my RNs, Nicole Gagne, and this is from Pastor T.J. Johnson, and what he says is, why are you nominating this nurse? I was visiting a patient when I became lightheaded. I saw Nikki and told her how I was feeling. Nikki called for a wheelchair right away. I proceeded to pass out, and she called for the rapid response, and I was taken quickly to the ER. I want to thank Nikki for her quick response and compassion. Okay, and I had another nominee. So,
Let's give Nikki her.
oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I have a day nominee, and now I have a night nominee. This is for Lynn Taylor. She's a night nurse on 4 North Tower. And this is from a patient that I remember well, James Johannes. And he said, Lynn treated me like I was important. She explained everything to me and my wife. She took extra steps to make me comfortable. I wish all nurses were as compassionate as she. She is very important to your hospital and other staff and patients. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you got from 2 patients, Lynn. Okay. All right, sorry. I was doing payroll up to the last minute. I apologize. Okay. This is from a patient named Scott Townsend, and he says of Lynn, very compassionate to your needs and feelings, very helpful and very patient with the patients. She has gone above and beyond her job title and is just very loving and understanding. She is the best and very compassionate.
Congratulations, guys. Great job. Next, I'd like Jody Rain to come up.
Hello. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. I, too, have 2 nominees from the emergency department. The first one is Claire Gibson, and they wrote in and said, Claire showed my husband and I true compassion during a very scary time. She explained everything that was occurring to me so that I could understand what was happening to my husband, Maxwell. She acted quickly when she noticed an increase in his blood pressure. She talked calmly and answered all the questions that I asked. She was very observant of Max, and I had inner peace seeing how well she was taking care of him. She explained what would happen when he got moved to the ICU, so I would know what to expect. She calmed my fears, so I was able to stay positive and focused on my husband. She made a very scary time easier for me because of her care for Max. And then my second one is Emily Voorhees. And they wrote in and said, Mom had been in a small room in the emergency department for over 24 hours with little information, no daily meds, no primary care visit, and her gastroenterologist doctor had said that she could eat, but no food, and it was a rare time that this 90-year-old woman was actually hungry. Emily came on duty, and I could hear some of the discussion from our room. She targeted our situation immediately and got answers, food, a room, and transport to it, and a doctor visit in what seemed like a flash after the hours of waiting. She could have let Mom be rushed upstairs and avoided what must have been the 20th diaper change, but instead she took the appropriate time, slowed the clock, cleaned Mom up, and sent her on her way with a smile and a wish for good health. She also understood and changed how she spoke to my mother so that she could understand what was happening. Mom is deaf in one ear, and in the other she uses a hearing aid and can only hear normal voices. It just needs to be slow speaking so she can process the sound. She was the first to really accommodate this need. Cheers and thanks to Emily. What were you saying?
We're a classy group, aren't we? Okay. And last but not least, I'd like to invite Lauren Cross to come up to read the nomination for our final candidate. I tricked you. I changed my mind. I'd like to ask Kathy Vaughn to come up, please, and say a few words. Come on up, Kathy. Kathy's one of our famous patients.
I got my own tissues, so you all better have yours.
Speak into the mic.
Okay, right this time.
You got it.
Okay, so kind of just tell you a little bit about myself first. I've been a nurse for 47 years, and I've been a retired nurse for 2 years from this facility, of which I worked 23 years here in labor and delivery. So I've probably given out a little care myself in those number of years. I'm trying to contain myself. I'm a very emotional person. I don't mean to be. I guess you could rent me for funerals and weddings or something. But on January 14th, I had a knee replacement surgery, and that was a Wednesday. And the following day, somehow my pain management just got out of control, and I was hurting a lot. And at about 7 p.m. at a change of shift, this gentleman came over me, in front of me, and I was really beside myself. And I think I consider myself a pretty pulled-together person, but boy, I sure wasn't that day. And this person, Chuck Whittington, took my hands in his hands, and I told him, "I'm hurting, please help me." And these were his exact words. He said, "I will take care of your pain tonight." And I asked my husband if that's what he said, and my husband remembers everything, and that's what he said. And now the next thing has nothing to do with pain management. I don't know if Chuck remembers, but then I asked him if he was a Christian and if he believed in God. I guess I decided to throw in religion, huh? And I think he, if I remember correctly, he did say he did. And I am a very spiritual person. And I said, "I know God has sent you to my bedside right now. You're like my angel of mercy," because I just was so out of sorts at that moment, and I was frightened and I was scared. And so I will tell you that he did do what he said he was going to do. I actually must have went off whatever he gave me and provided for my pain management. It was a trick, and I rested that night perfectly, that I remember. And I think about how many lives I've touched too. And I saw in him what I've always believed to be our profession to be. I've always been a bedside nurse. My nursing program was bedside nursing. And that's what I did all my years. And it was where I belonged. And it is where Chuck belongs. Maybe he belongs higher. I don't know. Maybe we should think of management for him. I'll just throw that in. But I know there is one person who started this off. I guess her name was Florence Nightingale. And so she might have been the girl, but Chuck Whittington definitely was the boy. So God bless you for everything you did for me. You're a great, great, great nurse. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words. I know that's not easy to do. Next, I would like to invite Susan Druschel to come up to say a few words. She's also one of our famous patients.
I think Kathy's stories, I could just say ditto, because it's basically the exact same thing happened to me. And where's my little cheat sheet?
Did you lose your paper?
Yeah, my cheat sheet. Where'd it go? Oh, well, I'll just have to ad-lib it here. Okay. I, too, was probably 2 days earlier than Kathy, and we would not, thank you, we did not butt heads about Chuck at all. This was like, I said, you're Kathy, aren't you? And she said, yeah. But, I had a hip replacement surgery on January 12th, and the next day I was in a terrific amount of pain. And at the point of my worst pain in the pain crisis, I was supported by Nurse Chuck Whittington, who was an outstanding human being. He was an angel to me during those nighttime hours. He recognized the problem, got the timing of the medications perfect, was full of care and compassion and professionalism. He pulled me out of agony to one where I could actually smile with him. I will forever remember his kindness, his expediency, and humanness throughout that night. And when he was my nurse on the second night, I knew I was in great care. He should be a model for other nurses. I just thought you should know of this gentleman. Awesome and amazing. And another just side note, I used to work for hospice for 17 years in Ohio. And one of our sayings that we had in hospice was from Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa would say, "We don't do great things, but we do small things with great love." And I thought of Chuck. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much for that. And we have one last testimonial for Chuck. Unfortunately, that gentleman wasn't able to make it in today, which was unfortunate because I get a feeling he's quite a character. But I'll let Lauren read his letter. I didn't give you
Okay, all right. I usually never write compliments because I always receive the service I expect. However, I did not find this to be the case upon visiting Manatee Memorial. I was taken care of after hip surgery. To begin with, the staff at this hospital must be trained by the heavens. Throughout the entire stay, I was checked up on more than needed, really. I especially want to thank Chuck. If I could, I would hire him to watch over me to death. Absolutely amazing, explained everything. He is an example of how to provide above and beyond service. I can't emphasize how lucky and privileged I was to be seen by him.
And while I'd like to offer a fond congratulations to all of our nominees, our Daisy nurse is Mr. Chuck Whittington. Lauren's going to give you
Congratulations, Chuck.
and I did spell your name right this time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, so much for enjoying this wonderful day with us. Please congratulate our nominees and Chuck, our winner. I will again reiterate that we did have 29 nurses that really were outstanding nominations. I wish I could give 29 Daisy Awards out, but I can't. But certainly, I think we've got a very honored and distinguished winner for our first presentation. I'd like to again extend my thanks to the foundation for supporting this event. Nursing is very, very appreciative, and I would like to thank our visitors for coming in today. I know you've both had surgery, and it took a bit of effort for you to come on in, and I'd like to thank you for that. So everybody have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the refreshments, and just get to know each other. Okay, thank you.